solving a short-term problem, but it's becoming clear that, like, you don't want to have your money in China. And that's why we're seeing 30-year low investment. We're seeing, exports falling. And
yet, China's hosting a development forum.
Well, they're desperately trying to get the money.
I mean, the development forum is not new. That's like something that they hold. But the news that came out is that Xi Jinping is going to be meeting with foreign CEOs, like at the development forum.
Yeah, I mean, if those CEOs are allowed to shake hands with Xi Jinping, then they're definitely going to make money in China.
Yeah, if they can directly tell Xi Jinping that, they're concerned about these things, Xi Jinping is definitely going to change how China operates.
Right. Like when Obama and Trump and Biden told him, no more fentanyl to the U.S.
Yeah, that definitely worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why it took 3 presidents asking.
When Xi Jinping promised Obama that there would be no militarization of the islands on the South China Sea, because they were face to face, they, had this good conversation. It definitely worked.
Definitely.
But yeah, there's that. And then I think there's something else about China releasing new, I don't know if you would call it guidelines, but like a new plan to increase foreign investment, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's all like, it's like 24-point plan that's all about things like, increased access to the technology and financial sectors, but they're all really vague. And
increased access. Oh, great. We'll let you give us more of your money.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know if it's well, we'll see. I don't know if it's going to work the way it is because especially with the economy doing worse in China, you see what Xi Jinping is doing is trying to basically create more power for himself, making himself, I mean, he's getting rid of like the collective leadership thing that Deng Xiaoping used to trick everyone to thinking was headed to reform. Xi Jinping has been talking, he's gotten rid of the collective leadership and talking about core leadership. And he's the core.
I mean, that's been going on for years now.
But it's constantly ramping up. And this was something I brought up in the David Day podcast that, like, what happens if China just can't keep this game going because it's not getting the kind of foreign investment? I think we're really going to see, the mask fall off, and we're going to see that China is a Marxist regime with nukes.
I thought you were going to say Xi Jinping's mask falls off, and underneath, it's Winnie the Pooh.
You thought I was going to say that.
I actually did think you were going to say that.
Oh, Matt. I don't know.
I mean, it would have been clever, Chris. And I know it would have been clever because I thought of it.
Thank you for watching China Unscripted. I'm Chris Chappell.
Cut our losses?
Are we really ending there, Chris?
No, I'm kidding. We won't actually end there. We've got more to talk about. But on a similar note, there's that poll that just came out that 40% of Americans see China as the greatest enemy.
That's actually down.
It's down.
Is it down?
It's down from last year because the peak of it was like 50%, right? As like that after that spy balloon incident.
Oh,
but it's up from like 16% in 2011, which is before we started China Uncensored.
We have changed America. Da 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 da.
So, I mean, most of the credit obviously goes to you, Chris.
Oh, to us.
But also possibly there are some, external events outside of our control that have influenced this a little bit, like maybe the spy balloon. And COVID.
We've done nothing, have we?
This is what we were talking about how when we started the show in 2012, it was just like shouting into the void.
The zeitgeist was against us.
Remember when people were like, Iran is the biggest threat?
I actually don't remember that.
But it was, though. That was like what it was 10 years ago. And then and Russia was like not really considered a big threat. I was looking at the survey data a couple days ago, so that's why I know.
Oh, that's what people believed back then.
Yes, like
okay.
The Gallup polls asking people like what is the single biggest foreign threat to America, and then it was like Iran was number one in 2011, followed by China at like a much smaller percentage, and then Russia was like 2%. It was like almost nothing.
What is it now?
Well, China is at 41%, Russia is next. I forget the percentage. And then Iran is like very low. Like nobody's talking about Iran right now because, when the U.S. is currently dealing with a Russian invasion of Ukraine, as well as obviously what's going on with Hamas and Israel, like it seems like those are maybe bigger threats, but it's actually, I think, because the media coverage of those things puts them in the zeitgeist, so people are just aware of them. It's top of mind awareness. That I think explains a lot of what's happening with China too, which is that the more and more people are aware of all the horrible things the CCP is doing, in a small part perhaps thanks to us, but in large measure thanks to like
the things the CCP is doing. Yeah.
We couldn't do it without them.
Yes.
We really couldn't. So should we say thank you, Chinese Communist Party? I mean, really, I'd rather not have to do this show. I think that's...
I mean, now I'm thinking of like that Star Trek reboot movie. Like, where would we be if the CCP never took over? What if Chiang Kai-shek had struck when the iron was hot and actually
reinvaded
defeated Mao before he even took over? What would we be doing? What is the parallel universe where there was no CCP? What are we doing with our lives? Would we have even met? I don't know. Wow. Whoa. Makes you think a little bit differently about the Chinese Communist Party.
So they've really brought us together.
They brought us together. Shelley, wow. I think I felt the wind from the eyes rolling back.
I don't know. I mean, I think my life would probably have been affected the most, honestly.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I don't know. I think it's all about me.
I mean, would I still be in China?
Yeah, that
maybe.
That could
yeah.
be
like, would your parents have gone with you back to China if there was no Tiananmen Square massacre?
Yeah.
Well, not even that, because like the economic situation of China would be totally different if it had never gone through the Cultural Revolution.
That's true. I mean,
there wouldn't have been a Geiger Kaifeng.
Would my dad have needed a scholarship from the UN to study abroad? Like this whole thing, like what? Yeah, it just who knows? It would have been very different, right?
It's like I'm realizing we're in like that evil timeline in Back to the Future 2, where everything has gone wrong. It wasn't supposed to be like this.
Oh, and like Biff has this big casino.
They make him basically Trump, actually.
Yeah,
that's not my opinion. That's just that's how the movie presents Biff.
Right.
But yeah, we're in the evil dark timeline, so we need to use our science to go back in
to
time,
1955,
and prevent this setting right.
No, I think Chris is
wrong.
talking about going back to like 1945 and preventing like the 49 Civil War win of.
Yeah, when would you have to go back in time?
You'd have to prevent the Soviets from giving Mao that one like sports betting magazine.
That's what happened. They gave Mao the play-by-play book of like
that's what the
Japanese are
going to
come and oh my god, it makes perfect sense. Hitler was using his Nazi scientists to research time travel. The Soviets got the Nazi scientists and developed it. They went to it makes sense now.
Really, we need Indiana Jones, I think.